Well, here we are. I thought I had my camera on while I was actually mounting this, but I don't know whether it went flat or what happened, but I have no footage. Great. But I've got it all carted up in these areas because it was starting to bridge go drummy. So I've pulled that in and hopefully that'll all set where it's supposed to be. I had a little bit of trouble with the lips, but I just may have not had enough skin left on the inner lips to tuck properly, but I think we've sorted that. All those little pins will come out afterwards. Eyes are going okay, they're dirty, but they've got to be cleaned up obviously when they're finished. I just put a nail to hold the tear duct in. Same on this side, you can just see it in there behind there. Everything's working well there. The ears, I've made it so I've got one laying back and one sort of pointing forward because it's sort of like a, a semi-turn on a deer. So usually they turn them to look, but they've got the other ear listening sort of behind them. So, they're always an alert animal. Very rarely you find one just mooching about. They're always one of them looking for danger. I've carded all the seam so that it'll lay flat as it dries. It won't sort of pucker up. The ears I'm very happy with. They really came out really nice. Just hope as it dries they don't shrink up and go all crusty on the edges, but so far so good. I will be bagging it. That's the back. I only just had enough cape, so anyone who's caping out a deer, make sure that you go back behind the last rib on the cape. I went sort of mid ribs, and honestly I just had enough right here. That was basically the end of the cape, so I just had enough there. I was very lucky there, but otherwise it was pretty good. So yeah, I've got the nostrils with paper jammed in them to hold the inner part of the nostril against the form. And then I had a bit of drumming happening underneath, so I've carded those two areas of the shoulder. But this is my first ever attempt at taxidermy doing it properly. I had a couple of goes as a young fella, had to make my own forms out of plaster of Paris, which was pretty disgusting, but which I've mentioned before. But this is my first real attempt at taxidermy, and I'm pretty happy with how it come out. I reckon if I can do it, anyone can do it, because I'm no expert, and all I've done is Googled YouTube basically, and yeah. It's not the biggest set of antlers, but there's a big old bruiser. If they hadn't had broken palms, it would have been a very nice head. So anyway, my first deer for big stag for 20 years, basically. And I thought it's about time I actually had a crack. And this is what it's coming out like. So I'll do a video when it's all, decarded and painted up and epoxied and everything else I've got to do to it yet. But if you want to do it yourself, I think have a crack, because like I say, if I can do it, I think anyone can have a good go, and just do a lot of research first. And I got all my taxidermy supplies from Australian Taxidermy Supplies in Victoria, and they've been great. Anyway, thanks guys. I hope you have good hunting, and God bless.